They've taken all the paperwork and all we did. We kept yours was kept in mind.
Yeah.
I just went through it line by line. I just went through it line by line. That's, so that we have some changes, and then there's some the last page. Usually there's a bunch of pens and stuff.
Got two in the car.
There's a lot of games you gotta figure out. What's the question, though?
He is like
Okay, hit play? Oh, yeah, we're good. I have. What? These?
why are we not doing that?
You said that, yeah, it's the first full section.
Oh. Yeah, behind that.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call this meeting to order, 7:04 p.m. Kathy? Want to do attendance?
Oh, well, we have a sign-in sheet over there.
I mean, we're just going to get all our names out.
Board members, Jessica, Tiffany, Eli, Joel, Tom, Eric. So that's, the only one missing is Tom.
Okay, just want you to reflect that. Okay. Going to approval of the February 16th meeting minutes. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Actually, the only thing I would change, because this budget report is on the lighting and electrical repairs on the budget.
This is February 16th minutes.
Oh, okay.
That's right.
I'm gonna get May 6th.
Okay, all in favor? Any opposed? All right, on to the May 6th minutes. Have a motion for adopting the May 6th minutes.
So the only thing I would make a motion to amend.
We have the motion first, and then.
Motion to approve.
Okay, we got a motion to approve. We have a second?
Yeah.
Second from Tom Judge, and then Joel, you'd like to amend?
Just on the budget is to include lighting repairs with electrical and lights, same line item. They were separated on the previous budget with HOA. So that budget should be 1,500.
Did you change the number? Are you changing the number?
So it'd be 1,500 instead of 1,000 combined, same line item, so it's separated at 1,500.
Okay.
That's one thing.
Can I have a second for that amendment?
Does that,
Just
so
amending
does
the-
that include FPL?
No, that's electricity, that's power.
Okay, so you're trying to do.
Electrical and lighting.
Got it.
And electrical lighting repairs, it should be the
Yeah,
same
it
line.
seems like it's repetitive.
Can you guys speak louder? We can't hear you back here.
Okay,
Thank you.
we'll do our best.
You can come up.
I'll motion to approve.
We can get together.
Motion to approve minutes as amended. Aaron, need a second?
I'll second it.
All right. Okay, all in favor of motion, this is just approving minutes, it's not approving the budget, just approving the minutes. All in favor, aye? Okay. So, I just wanted to say, that, last meeting, might have seemed a little, out there at times. But I was really glad for how we worked together as a board, and got, through a process that was, delayed, admittedly, in getting done. But still we got through, we didn't pass a budget, but we prepared a budget. And that's what you usually do, you prepare it first, and then you give people a chance to look at it, and you give the public a chance to know that the budget's gonna be passed, so the public now knows it's gonna be passed. So we did everything with very good intention. We're not all on the same page, but that's all right. It's it takes a village. So, one of the things I do want to say though is, we work best if we, continue to, stay on one task at a time. So I'd ask that if you're going to speak, you only speak to the actual issue that we're discussing, and not bring up what something happened 5 years ago or is gonna happen in 3 months. Let's try to stay with the topic at hand, and, we will have time in the meeting to, I hope, get to other topics, but not if we jump around. I think that's the only thing that I would prefer as the president, that we don't jump around, that we stay focused on one thing at a time. So, just wanted to put that forward and hope that you would, cooperate. I think that's a good sign of just being civil to one another is, whatever we're talking about that, we're not talking about anything else. Agreed? Understood? All right, anything from our vice president? Secretary, treasurer, committee? Want to review the lake report? Who's the lake
Yeah, I am.
report person, all right? You gotta just follow this along,
Yep.
okay?
So,
Before we move on to that, because we went through the lake committee, has anything happened with the, lake survey?
I just handed it to Andy to sign, and then we still have, I think it's on the agenda today to discuss and vote on having the engineer review, because without it, it's just a pretty picture, a very expensive picture of the lake. And then upon looking at the bank statements, I saw that we've already spent the $5,000 to get that one-page, engineer report, which I thought was done pro bono, so I didn't know if we wanted to discuss that too. So it's in Andy's hands right now.
You want to see it? Right. Maybe it's this one.
And in that quote is a quote that we discussed getting for stakes, in order to basically, you put a stake in the lake so that if there is erosion, you can tell if it's actually moving or not, and not just based on the water level. But the stakes are very expensive, so I don't think it's something worth paying for, but it's in there to discuss as a board.
Okay, so this is just the contract to allow them to do the work.
Well, yeah, the contract has to be signed.
To do the survey.
Yeah,
Okay.
has to be signed, and then whoever is in charge of, cause I know was at the last meeting, we're in limbo between you being treasurer and Joel or whatnot, so then it needs to be paid and then it starts.
Okay, so we, put money in the upcoming budget to discuss this, so we can talk about it now, or we can talk about it when we get to the budget. What's your pleasure?
No,
Whatever works.
I mean, we've already, in January, we already approved to do it.
Yeah.
And then we approved again, I think, last week. There's really nothing to do it. I think other than sign it.
There are,
And I don't mean the way that
No, that's
came
fine.
out.
just looking at this now, there are, this was addressed to Joel, February 5th. agreement for professional services relating to lake bank stabilization, Caulfield and Wheeler Incorporated. The first scope of services is attend meetings and conference calls as required to keep the owner developer informed. Fee, there's no fee listed or time, no fee or dollar signs listed, so.
Yeah, he left that one blank because, I told him that as a board, that wasn't approved yet. So he removed it from Joel's original quote.
So we won't be able to get that, or we just follow the fee schedule that's,
There's just a fee schedule
Okay.
for the survey, and then there's a fee schedule for the stakes.
Okay.
So we have to decide if we want the stakes while they do the survey, and then also then decide, like vote if we want to pay him hourly, which he said would be about 2,500, give or take, depending on how many questions and the results, but this is, he said about 2,500 based on his letter that was already paid, and his understanding of the lake's condition, for future maintenance or whatever may be needed, if anything.
so under the first item, the team meetings and conference calls, if we do any team meetings and conference calls, the board should know that there will be additional charges, but I don't know what the additional charges could be.
I think his hourly rate is on one of those pages, if not,
250,
I can pull it up.
300 an hour?
Yeah.
I think those are probably court levels. So I think we should just be aware of that, in advance. The second one is the topographic survey. This is the second, service. This seems what we've been talking about a little bit, I think. The consultant will obtain elevations around the limits of the lake at 100 feet intervals. Elevations will include lake track limit, top of bank, edge of water, and 8 feet past control level. This will include any significant vertical breaks at the edge of water. That's $4,800. So that would be, to your question earlier, are we in code with the bank slope? And that I think we're really concerned about, right? We wanna know if that slope is okay, because that actually is a safety concern. And if someone, even those people that shouldn't be trespassing, are trespassing and fall and break something, or if a child in their own, backyard gets through the fence, the slope would not maintain properly, could very well be our liability. So far from that being an aesthetic issue, which the last one did address, like, does it look good? Does the lake look healthy? This would be specifically to decide on if we had any abrupt violations in the slope of your yard to the water. I just wanna explain that. And that is important. We would be getting that.
So may I just interject there? So I have emailed back and forth extensively with Matthew, the engineer, and he addressed the slope in the $5,000 letter, and he said that it's not current to today's code, but that doesn't mean the code's not current, and we have liability insurance because someone could slip into the lake, or, you know what I mean? That's why we pay the $5,500 a year for. But he did address that already, so really what the survey would be beneficial for is it, just like when you buy a house, you have to get the survey, so it'll be like a drawing of the lake and tell us everywhere it needs to go. So even say we have a hurricane come and it washes out a shoreline, then we have that as a baseline to say, oh, this whole area needs to be washed in, and then, it would be ideal to have the engineer be able to look at it and then give us an engineer designed plan so that we don't just put a bunch of dirt and then it gets washed out because it wasn't installed correctly. So in any future maintenance, like where there's washout areas, it would be good to have an engineer backed plan. It is more money, but then it doesn't have to get redone, because he's like, you install per
State of
these.
the lake, get the state of the lake here.
Yeah.
That's what you want.
So,
Alright.
it's more of like
Yep.
that than the code.
So, then there are what's called staff gauges. Verify boundary and vertical is $600. set 4 staff pages at $750 each, is $3,000. That was what Jessica said,
Yeah.
was to determine further erosion and what pace it's occurring.
And for
We
more
don't-
like hurricanes,
Yeah.
like washouts.
So that's more than we have in this budget. But,
Not the 4,800.
what's that?
4,800's in the budget.
Yeah, but we don't
Yeah.
have we don't have any set
The
aside
stakes.
for conversations, conference calls, meetings, and we don't have any more set aside for the verified boundary and vertical. So are we just gonna take the contract, at the topographical and hope we don't have any team meetings, or
Well,
should
so,
we set aside a little more? Usually we have to talk to people. Do you think there'd be a presentation that would be given?
so the 4,800 doesn't include anything but the actual drawing. So they'll come out and do it, and then we get it, and then we can frame it or do whatever. Or we then say, okay, now we need, he said we can do it 2 ways. A written report, which will be more expensive, it takes more time, or just a phone conversation, Zoom meeting, in-person meeting where he's like, hey, here's washout, here's this, you know, I recommend, I can draw you up some plans for these immediate areas. For a long-term future, you could plant plants, and I can give you plans, and then we as a board can decide and go from there. That's what he said would probably be around 2,500, for the verbal. So,
So then we would need to amend the budget accordingly then, I think, if that's the case.
So
I
my
can pass
thoughts,
this around if you want.
my thoughts are, you know, if we're doing the topographical survey, the next item is how much, 2,500, right?
what?
It'd be like 2,500 for the next.
Yeah,
So
it's
wouldn't
kind of
we-
like phases, yeah.
Yeah, so wouldn't we bid that out again for multiple different,
I wouldn't wanna stay with the person who did it. That's a pretty much easy shortcut, isn't it?
I'm just thinking like that, I don't know, like, if we're looking for direction of how we treat it,
Mhm.
shouldn't we bid it out then for different?
Well, I think they can tell us like this area needs it, this is our recommendation, and then to do the actual work, you would bid it out.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
he's,
Oh, yeah.
so he would just give his his engineer suggestion, cause remember, doesn't work for any other company, he's strictly an
Yeah.
engineer. So he would say, hey, you can do rocks, you can do plants, you can do a gold fountain, you know, and then we just say, okay, let's go get the gold fountain based on his, like, and he'll do the drawings and stuff, and then we just hand it over to whoever we decide and get bids from, and then it's all, you know, done.
I don't exactly know what to do, because I don't wanna get caught later on needing to have
Mhm.
several meetings to argue over, like, we don't know if this is right or that. I mean, I'd like to have a little cushion to be able to talk more.
And, I mean, considering we already know it's mostly aesthetic and nothing super urgent, maybe we phase it out and
Put it in
put
the
in the
20.
budget for next year to have it analyzed.
We could do that too. We could do the topographical survey right away, and, you know, I guess I'd feel comfortable throwing another $500 or something, just in case we need to meet with him, and, it's a little more extensive. Say he wants to meet with the board, you know, as opposed to one of us. I think probably be best if he meets with the board. So that's an extra charge, I'm sure.
So can I, maybe interject as far as what South Florida Water Management is basically saying as far as our lake is concerned? This was an email. Thanks again for your time. Okay, as discussed, the construction standard for lakeside slopes today is 4-to-1 slope to 2 feet below the lake's control elevation. This slope was designed to factor in routine maintenance and safety. As mentioned, there are different options to repair side slopes. Number 1, rebuild with soil. Number 2, tube log system. Number 3, bioengineered SOX design. Number 4, riprap. All 4 types are acceptable repairs. Once the community decides on a method and to prevent future erosion damage, the community should consider planting a vegetative buffer. The plants knock down wave action, provide better water quality, and provide a great habitat for wildlife. Some native plants to consider, and it gives out 5 of them. To review the community's permit file, go to the blue registration and permitting link below. Search such records, then search by permit or permit number. The entire file is online. Let me know the outcome. If you have any questions, don't hesitate. The guide was clear. Section leader for South Florida Water Management District. So basically, he's saying, you know, verbally, he said to me, was, you know, this should have been done yesterday. But, we understand that, you know, communities, we're not alone here. Obviously, other HOAs don't have $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 to throw out all at once. So, and that being said, if you show that you're trying to repair something that is in need of repair, if you make that step towards that, he says, that's a good thing. He says, otherwise, he said, down the road, if you do get into a liability set situation, it can come back and haunt you if you didn't do anything. Now, I will say, this board, not most of this board, the board members from the past, have been on notice as far as what's going on, as far as the safety concern with the lake, with the banks of the lake, with the drop off and have you. It's in the minutes, it's recorded, on Jessica Hunter's phone, obviously. So that being said, and this is what was told to me by Solitude, is that if the event that something did happen, okay, and whether it was a kid or a person that fell into that, and we did nothing, and we're not making any type of correction with this, then that wouldn't look so good for us, okay?
Yeah.
So that's what and this has occurred before, and not here, but another community, and the person ended up suing, and it was a whole debacle. But, you know, we are on notice in the sense that we have to do something. You know, even our attorney, when he was here, he goes, guys, it's not, you know, rocket science, something needs to be done. So I appreciate the fact that we're making an effort going forward.
Definitely.
You know, I mean, obviously, this is, you know, it's not falling on deaf ears, right? So hopefully we can look forward to rectifying some type of, you know, a solution to this, because it's overdue. And it's not like, you know, I mean, how far do you say, okay, well, just put it on the back burner. You know, I've been dealing with Solitude for 6 years now, from the beginning of this, and that's okay, I'm not complaining, this is part of the thing. I don't want any assessments, I don't wanna pay anything more than I have to, but if we can do this through the next 3, 4, 5 years or something, and make that effort, that's gonna show good intentions on our
Yes,
side.
it usually does.
Period.
Good intention does go.
So
Okay,
you-
just something to remember, we can, move on.
Can I just say one thing?
Hmm.
So, to your point, Tom, the easiest way to do that, I think we've already started, is telling Solitude to not kill all the littoral plants around.
Which
So
they
that-
haven't.
They haven't been killing it.
Yeah.
Right, so we're doing one of their options right now, right?
Yeah, there's already like cattails and stuff, but Top Lawn hasn't been weed whacking around the lake, which is, it looks really bad.
That's not part of their job description.
Oh, well, I haven't seen the job description because we don't have a contract, so,
I mean,
and I'm not
that's
trying
up
to.
to
Okay,
them.
remember, we want
But
to stay on.
anyways,
yeah,
stay
so
on
we're
topic.
already
But-
doing that, to your point.
Yeah, but also one more point,
So I think if you could explain, because I have a neighbor who's wondering about that. Explain the plant situation.
so whoever's supposed to weed whack or whatever, that's not happening. Or if they are supposed to, then we need to get with them and figure that out, cause there's a bunch of weeds around.
Around the lake?
Yeah,
I think that's the individual homeowner's
Yeah.
landscape company.
on the actual edge of the lake, cause that's
You mean
community
the one
park
side,
property.
the sort of the public side?
This is like actual lake bank. I think I might have
The
taken.
behind the houses? Is that what you mean?
Like so it's like here's the water, right? And then here's the slope. It's like the grass is growing into the water.
Right, but what I mean is, how would they access that? Would they have to go into somebody's backyard? Is that where you're talking
Oh,
about?
just like how they go in the back to mow, like we take care of all of that. They would weed whack in that area right there.
No, they have never done that. That would have to be something.
They're not allowed to, cause they can't
Yeah.
cut into the grass, into the lake. So I think they mow like 4 or 5 feet up to the lake, and just like the canals, you can't put disposed clippings in the lake.
My neighbor who lives on the lake told me that that's what they do. I don't live on the lake, so I'm just going off of what I was told, cause I don't know, cause I don't live there, but.
Gosh, I would stop down, I would live, I'm doing it for years. I've been doing that. Mr. Mayor?
I think it used to be dead because they used to
No,
spray it.
I think,
That's why.
Yeah, I think so too.
so I think this will answer your question, because I know what you're saying. So when I spoke to one of the techs that was spraying on the lake banks, and they do that purposely, you know, it has been doing that purposely to avoid any type of vegetation that's gonna attract snakes and what have you. So they always kind of like, if you will, burned around the water's edge on that. So now, they're doing that purposely, and they're just spraying a smaller amount for the purpose of getting maybe some grass onto the banks, so it would prevent prevent erosion. You know, but I don't know how that's working out. It's getting pretty long, and
Yeah.
it's getting pretty,
The lake was pretty low, so
Yeah.
things did grow.
And so it
Yeah.
just looks like we need someone to come weed whack and then leave the littoral plants alone.
or we just tell Solitude to continue to spray like they have in the past
But
20 years.
that just
So-
goes against what you just asked to do.
No,
No.
so,
The
No,
littoral plants help erosion,
They-
as you said.
yeah.
yeah,
the-
but she's talking weeds, not
Yeah.
littoral plants, Tiffany.
Yes.
Littoral
You said
plants are
to
nice
come-
and they're.
Yeah, even like the.
She's talking
Cause there's
weeds.
like cattails growing and lilies growing right now that are all, they contribute to the health of the lake and the stability. But like the grass is actually an invasive species and it's like growing. I don't think I took a picture, I can email it later, but it's, so the grass is what's getting out of control.
I have.
But that's why it was, stopped, it was supposed to stop spraying like the actual aquatic native plant life, not any grass that could be weed whacked or whatnot. And then, so one of the things from the engineer with that point being is, he may look at it and be like, yeah, there's some slope, exactly what the guy said. Your alternative, most cost-effective, long-term solution could be to do the littoral plantings, and here I will give you the design and the equipment and everything to
Yeah,
do.
Absolutely.
So that this lasts forever and you're not having to redo it because someone installed it wrong or whatever, and so, stuff like that, so
Okay.
it's an expense, but if we're gonna do it, my whole philosophy with everything is do it right the first time, so we're not having to go pay for that expense again. And,
So let's keep that in mind. We're not amending the budget at this moment, but keep that in mind that we have 5,000 in the budget for the engineering review. That would give us $200 if there's a need to talk to them. Maybe they don't cover it, we can just kind of be conservative that way, or you might wanna amend that. Okay, back to, or on to the lake report, just real quick. Anything we need to add to what's written there? It's all pretty clear. The algae, April 28th, algae?
Yep, algae,
Does that seem to work, or do we need to do it again, or
what?
solitude treated algae?
Yeah, no, okay, so, all right, we're switching gears, right?
Right, we're moving on.
Okay. The lake, it was treated, sprayed, okay, you see this on the minutes. On the littoral shelf on March 17th, again on April 3rd, and then I had mentioned about, because it was brought up, and we spoke about it at the last meeting, the lake algae was treated on the 28th. However, after our meeting on May 6th, I called Todd and let them know that there's still, what's going on with the algae. I copied you on that as well.
Okay,
And he says, yes, it's very common right now, he said, but we will treat it.
okay. All right. Good.
In fact, Barb, thank you for the picture that you showed us on a lake that was fairly new, I guess, and they've got a bloom that's about half, twice as
boy.
much as we have. But yeah, I mean, so ours is not that bad, and I'll tell you the reason why is, from what I understand, is that there's movement in that lake.
Yeah, I agree.
There's movement in that
That
lake
always
where
helps.
that helps prevent
Mhm.
the bloom from kind of like, spreading, I should say.
And then the canal.
Canals treated. Now, here's the thing, and I want them to specify treatment of the canal as well, because you get different texts in there, and they, one guy started it, and then all of a sudden the next guy, the information's not passed on. So I have to reiterate to them to make sure that you include the canal. What they do is, when they send me, what I pass on to the board members as far as when the lake is done, they send me, and they refer to it as all, when they say all, a lake and a canal. And there's a new tech, I don't know, but in any event, I emailed them back, I says, please indicate that the lake and the canal are being treated, if they are actually being treated.
Yeah.
So, I know for one that lake, and I took pictures of it just a few days ago, I have them right here, but, yeah, they're not spraying like they used to with that.
Okay.
And the information I received, like I said earlier, is because they wanna kind of build up some type of a barrier, if you will, and let the weeds grow. The problem is that if you look at the picture, the canal or the lake itself, is the water's edge is down below where the grass is, before the grass even is there. So you'd have to get down into the water to weed eat that. Unless
Now,
you
it
wanna
has-
really.
It has risen again a little bit since when you take that.
This was taken last week, no, Friday, yeah. Friday. Pretty good, yeah.
Okay.
So, and I talked to Todd personally, we don't have a contract for the canal. So the canal is not treated on a monthly basis, it's basically treated when the canal owners get together and say, hey, this hasn't been treated. And so I spoke with Todd, and I have the email, and he said, there's no act, and Kathy just sent it, there's the most recent contract is from 2022, he said, if you want to sign a monthly contract, it'll be $250 per month additionally. I have the email, and, so we don't, and if you look at each and every bank statement, there's tons of months where the canal isn't treated, so that's just something to bring up for the budget, which I put a line item for $250 for 12 months, cause it's not treated every month, cause we don't have a contract.
We get
I
charged
think you're,
twice a
I think
year.
you're confusing something right here, I'm gonna try to make this clear, because I just talked to Tom. The canal is treated as far as the grasses on the banks of the canal. I think what you're referring to, Jessica, and I hear you on this, because I think that we need to get the treatment as far as if there's any bacteria or whatever in the lake and for the canal. I see that you've gotten the estimates for that, which I hope that we can do a motion on later in a little bit.
Well, this is monthly, just like the water is treated in the lake, this would be the monthly cause it was treated up until 2022 and it was stopped. So treating the actual water to help with the algae and stuff, that's what the 250 quote is for.
No.
Not those two quotes that are there. He just
Okay.
said it would, the
So,
quote,
can I just clarify, there's a difference between the work that we get done on the lake and the canal and the current contract, and then there's another thing that we could do for the canal that would improve the canal possibly,
What's the other thing?
the bacteria and the water.
Right, water analysis.
no, this is a,
Water
just,
treatment.
Just don't treat it.
exactly, just like we
They've
treat
been
the
doing
water
it
once a
for
month.
some years. They've been treating the canal when it needs to be treated.
Todd said
For
it
the
needs to be
past-
treated once a month and we don't have a contract for that, and that's why they've always done
You
it
live on a
sporadically.
canal?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen the guys in the canal spraying it like
I
that?
see them come by in the boat, but I'm not home often. I was under the impression that they treat every month, and I understand what you're saying, but that they only come when somebody complains, but my question would be, who are they complaining to that would then call is it Solitude?
Solitude.
Solitude
Board.
to come and,
Yeah.
so I know that I've seen them, so you said since 2022 they haven't treated it?
No, I didn't say they haven't treated it, I said they've sporadically treated it.
Okay,
So
okay.
we do not have a monthly contract with
Okay.
Solitude to treat and that's why it is not treated
Okay,
every
so
month.
So I know that I've seen them many times.
Yes, I'm sure.
So my question would be, who on the board fielded the call from the homeowner, who then called Solitude to come out and treat the canal?
First of all, Solitude will not, if they did that and listened to everybody from all the HOAs, that they already told me this, that's why they only have one or two contact people with the HOA. All right, that being myself, one, as far as the lake person or whatever. And then, now we have the lake committee, okay, so Jessica and Tiffany are the lake committee so they're privileged to contact Todd or Solitude and what have you as far as the estimates and whatnot. But with the service, I mean, it's always been, the lake has always been, now, I will say that there's been times where it hasn't. In fact, we've gotten credit for it in the past, because I made a lot of noise about it because of the fact that people were complaining about it. Oh, they didn't go in the canal, they did not go in the canal, they looked and I said, look, so, that being said, that was years ago, they come out and when they see that it needs a treatment, they do it. Now, sometimes they'll treat more than once a month, okay, and they didn't charge us any extra for doing that. So,
Well,
they're
Todd said,
keeping, an eye on it in terms of, you know, and yes, sometimes, you know, you gotta light the match a little bit under them and say, you know, we need to get the tree to make sure you guys are doing this. And-
But
So
he's
maybe
just-
we need to get clarification, I mean, and I'm not disputing what you're saying, I'm saying maybe he misspoke or he misunderstood or something.
No, I have the
Does-
emails.
Does the contract say anything about the canal?
Okay,
Yeah.
these two things,
Yeah.
that-
Oh, this is different, Andy,
They
sorry.
only do one side of the
That's a-
canal.
that's-
She's
okay?
talking about spraying the canal. spraying
This,
the lake.
this is a one-time water test,
And-
is what you're holding in your hand.
yeah.
What I sent to you, I sent today, earlier, last minute, and I was able to get through to Todd, and he sent us all three contracts, okay? Lake, canal, littoral plans, for lake, aerations, and, aeration maintenance, which they do, I think, once a year. And the littoral plants, they still do that for whatever, you know, we have over
Well-
there.
Well,
That's the
those,
smallest one.
Kathy forwarded those to me, that was yesterday's, and it does not include the canal.
The lake and the canal are the same.
And I spoke to Todd personally, and I have a back and forth email, and I even clarified with him, I said, just to make sure before tonight's meeting, we do not have a contract for the canal, and it would be an additional $250 per month if we want the canal treated monthly, and he said yes.
So he sent you an email that said that?
Yeah, and that's how I got
And
all.
I'm not disputing what you're saying,
Yeah.
it's curious, because as long as I've been here, the canals, as far as I know, has been treated monthly.
It has not, and even if you look at our bank statements, it will show that it has not been treated monthly.
We have 2 months last year at least, and already one this year, where they charge us 3 times a year, a month. And that extra charge is $250.
When the canal's been treated, so it's not monthly.
So maybe it's as needed, and that's why it appears that to you, that they have come out, but they're not coming out unless they think it's needed.
But Todd's come on the record at these meetings and said, we should be treating twice a month until it clears up, and then go down to once a month
On the canal.
on the canal.
That's not recent though, he said that a while back.
But it hasn't, the lake has
Still
been the
bad.
same because it was never done, so, you know, that's just the facts of the matter of what, I mean, you can look at our bank statements, it shows that we have not been paying them monthly, I mean,
Well, I'll tell you what.
I would show you my email, but my
I
phone's
think it'd be
recording.
really important to get the, canal treatment, clarified.
Yeah.
And I think that we know from other meetings that people on the canal have been at times concerned about its
Yeah.
well-being, so, we don't have to do any more tonight on that, we have to find out for sure, what they have been doing, and, you know, Jessica, maybe, we just need to, you and Tom and them get on a three-way call and clarify it, but clearly, this would have a budget impact, so again, keep in mind as we pass
Oh,
our
no.
budget.
So our budget, according to the May sixth numbers, it's 7,500. So if you look at the budget I presented to you with like the actual, like what we spent and everything, we're still, it's the same. It's just we don't have, the issue is we don't have a contract, so they don't come and do it.
Got it.
They come and do it when, you know, us homeowners are making us think, and then Tom reaches out to them or whatever.
Good, so that's
So-
why we only spent 4,000 last year.
Exactly.
Okay, good, all right, then we can move on, beautification. Anything to say? Architectural review submissions, Mary Kay West paint exterior, we approved that, fence replacement was approved, okay? Any questions? I believe we had a rental request, is that
Yes,
elsewhere in the
that's on-
business?
That's on here too. The same house, the 7195 Northwest Fifth, we're renting. So we all received the application.
I have to say, I'm, you know, struggling to get through the emails sometimes, so I missed something. Is this the person that asked to have the kids stay?
They left.
They left.
They left after
Okay.
about 2 months, so,
And someone's renting them?
yes. they're
I think you have to rent for a year.
I think it's a
Two.
different house.
To own for a year.
It's innovative.
No, it's 2 years.
You have to rent for at least a year before you could,
Yes.
you can't do 2 months and then rent
You're
again.
talking about,
Minimum rental?
Klein.
No, I thought the Invitation Homes house.
Yeah,
Oh, I
that's,
thought they were-
that's the one. That's what he's referring to.
The one with the baseball player kids?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
That's a,
gone.
that's a Fourth Avenue house.
Fifth.
Fifth house.
Oh, then I misunderstood which house it was.
In any event, they're out.
I thought it was the one next to Steve Benson's house.
So
No.
what's our bylaws say about having someone where they are supposed to rent no less than a year, and they only rent for 2 months?
They broke their lease.
So you can do nothing about it.
But
They
that,
broke their lease.
Depends
our
on it
point
says
is
the
that
house can
people,
only be rented once a year.
that's right, our point is we shouldn't having people move in and out, so I think it's up to our discretion, but I do think we have had a long discussion about not wanting to have transient
No,
movers.
we have to follow our documents. If the documents say the house can only be rented once a year, and it was rented for 2 months and somebody moved out, then I guess.
That's why I didn't wanna put it online. That's why it's the same.
Good, Tom, good, yeah.
Because I don't
That's
think
So
what-
we're gonna
get
make this
stuck in that
homeowner
situation
sit
by it.
rent list for the rest of the year?
It's Blackstone.
Well, they're not,
I mean,
because
that's not
they
the
had
point.
they had a lease, and the lease would be for a year, cause that's our stipulation. That means that leasee, or leaser should get a year's worth of rent from these people, and if they broke it, there should be a penalty that they're satisfied with, but
Right, regardless, we have to follow our documents. And I understand your point about letting it sit, but if we say, hey,
Well, I
you know
thought he
what?
said it was up to our discretion, that's why I'm saying.
it could be, I think we need to look at it.
So, I mean, maybe we table it and talk to Larry about it tomorrow, because this is something that, I mean, this could set a precedent. We deny this person because quote unquote they're Blackstone.
Right.
What happens if you tomorrow have to?
We're not denying them because they're black,
No, no.
we're
No,
following
no,
our documents.
I'm just saying, but,
That's right.
okay, so
We have to see
but
it.
then someone else who we know is like a resident has to go, a death in the family, rented it, a renter canceled, and then now they're like really hard, and then this will set a precedent because it's on
Understand, but
recording.
You
So maybe-
have to treat everybody equally,
So-
regardless of whether they're a friend or they're
Yeah.
not a friend.
So exactly, so that's why I'm saying, I don't know the law, I haven't researched this nuance, so
It's
maybe.
It's not the law, it's what our documents say.
So we have to look at it.
Well, yeah, so maybe we just defer to Larry before we make a final decision.
Sure.
Because this could be life-changing for everyone in the community, cause you never know when you're gonna have to rent out, and
Sure.
you can't control if your tenant
Yeah,
cancels,
no,
so
and I'm not
maybe-
saying,
yeah.
blanket deny them, I'm saying we have to follow our documents.
Yeah, and so I think it's at least worth a conversation, because, you know, setting a precedent like that could affect any single one of us.
I have it with me.
But wouldn't it be in our documents? We wouldn't have a copy.
Yeah, let's just
2
look
years,
at
right?
these.
So it's in our there was an amendment that was passed that you can only rent once per year now. So I just don't know if there's like nuances or whatnot, cause it's not like they're Airbnb-ing it, which is what the amendment was written for. So I would just hate.
Not exactly, Airbnbs are prohibited in the city of Boca Raton.
I know, but that's for transient, you know,
Right.
not 3 months and all of
Right,
that
right.
stuff. So this is like a very unique situation that at least should be researched before we just blanket deny them, not even reach
No,
out
no,
to Larry.
I agree.
So that's just my suggestion, is to table it until at least tomorrow, so we can Google.
What's, I mean, it's not, it's whatever our docs say, if it's once a year, it's once a year, whether,
Yeah.
Because then that homeowner
Well,
could
they-
also come after us and be like, well, no, this and that, you know, so I'm just saying,
Yeah,
you should at least
if our
Google it before
documents-
making a
If our
decision.
documents say once a year, it's once a year, you can't, if you make an exception for them, you have to make an exception
Yeah.
for anybody else and everybody
Yeah.
else who
I'm
wants to do it.
just saying, we should research it and
Okay.
table it.
Yeah, yeah.
I will
That's-
contact Larry
Okay.
on behalf of the board and find out, and he should have a good answer for us, so I should be back with you. And you're right, we don't wanna get ourselves into more trouble. So we will, table that.
Well, we got a question.
May I say something? Says in Florida, breaking a rental contract without legal justification makes you liable for unpaid rent, loss of your security deposit, and potential fees.
Depends on their lease, right?
Their lease had a termination clause.
Okay, so you got the minutes, ready to table that one, okay? Approve finalized HLPO budget for fiscal year 2026. So this is the budget that we kinda hammered out together. And hopefully the process, heard everybody's thoughts. I think, in my opinion, we took a lot of, input into account. And, so I'd like to go through, motion to accept the budget, that was prepared and has been presented to our residents and to the board in advance. Do I get a second?
I'll second.
Okay, so discussion on the 2026 budget as prepared at our previous meeting.
So there's one, I can't find it on here, but one line item for the, lake issue,
Yes,
because it looks like it's maybe more than we anticipated. I would say amend that, and if you help me find it.
It's on the bottom, fifth one up.
so last year we
Four.
spent 4,000 on the,
Lake canal maintenance.
Lake
is
canal
that where we put
maintenance.
it?
And then we brought it back up to 7,500.
Yeah.
You wanna propose an amendment?
I would say increase it $2,000, doesn't mean we have to spend it.
No, we don't have to
It
spend
just
it.
means we have the ability.
Right.
This comes back and we need a little more funds.
Do you're motioning to amend it?
So I motion to amend it to.
Do I have a second to amend it?
95.
Okay, we have Joel as a second, and now we have discussion on the amendment to the budget.
My amendment would be to the amendment, and the increase would be line item canal, so that they're two separate things, cause we would have to sign a contract with them, is what I was told. That's
Wanna
my.
break them out?
So you're just saying separate them?
Yeah, so it's clear, you know, just like Tom was saying, sometimes things are like jumbled, so then
That's right.
we got boom, boom, boom.
That's fine.
Okay, so, that's a friendly amendment, Aaron accepts it, right?
Yeah.
So we're not gonna need to do all that fancy stuff. So under lake canal maintenance, the first line will be henceforth lake maintenance.
Mhm.
And how much are we proposing for that?
So it's, I have it, the actuals we pay, and it's $282.48 per month, I believe. But I have not seen the most current and updated lake contracts. I only saw the ones that were sent last night that are from like 80 and in the 90s.
So you're gonna give me a,
Yeah, we're lucky that we haven't gotten a big increase on that.
33.50-ish.
do you feel comfortable with,
So-
she's coming off of a.
Of the bank statements that were actually paid out to them. It's,
So that's 3390 a year.
33.90? You can just say 3,500.
It's 3,500, okay? Lake maintenance, 3,500,
That's only the top one, right?
friendly amendment?
and I'm sorry, so also, because I do have it broken down, because there is different treatment, then there's the extra, it's like 250 per year, 220,
223.
or $18.61 per month, to do the spraying. But that's been sporadic because trying to avoid spray only the weeds
To be
versus,
exact, let's
Yeah.
get just round figure that we.
So-
So another 250 on top of the third, what'd you say, Tiffany, 33.90?
Yeah.
3390,
So
yeah.
35 and then 37.50.
3750 for lake maintenance, going once. All right, canal maintenance,
So then it's
So my email with Todd says it will be $250 a month if we sign a contract.
So
and
3,000.
did you say we had to treat twice the first time?
He suggested it, but then he said you could just start treating once monthly and see if that helps. But originally he said twice a month and all of this stuff, but because that was when we were thinking it was already being treated once monthly, but now we know it hasn't been. So, I mean, it just would seem maybe start with just treating it once a month and then see what happens.
3,000? It seems funny to me that the canal's almost as much as the lake, but
It
we're
is a
doing
pretty
way
long
more.
canal.
And you know, the canal is only one side, guys, okay, cause Boca Lake Estates takes care of their side.
How do you decide on lake?
No,
Well,
they,
listen, I
they
mean,
spray
it-
the whole thing. I've
And
seen
you can
that.
ask them to pay half.
No, here.
I've tried to reach out
I
to
don't
them.
think
Boca-
Boca Lakes Estates pays anything.
Boca
No, they
Lake
don't. I've
Estates
tried
pays
to
for
reach
their
out to
lake
them.
and their side of the canal. That's according to the
The
president.
bank, they pay for the bank.
They pay for the bank.
Yeah, they don't,
And when Solitude sprays, it's almost like a twofer.
Yeah.
Because they're hitting that side and hitting our side, and they're, you know, and they're spraying them at the same time.
so we are
When
gonna
they
be
get-
benefiting them if we treat the lake, the canal. We're gonna be benefiting them.
Well, yeah, cause you can't
Yeah.
divide the water in
Can't
half.
divide the water.
You
Well,
can't
Moses-
divide the bank
Moses-
in half.
And I know with that, with the chemicals that they spray, they cannot spray them within a 2-week, what I'm told anyway. I'm not the expert, but this is what I'm told, the messenger here. 14 days, it has not, you cannot spray within a 14-day span.
All right, you can't repeat it within 14 days.
Right.
Okay, so
Okay, so
I have the
37.50
lake at
and
37.50, canal at 3,000.
And then we just need another line item for the, lake, survey engineering.
Right.
This year.
Right, we had that under engineering, like 6 or 7 above. So I didn't bring a spreadsheet to do the calculating on these, or somebody gonna be able to do that? Because we just changed the budget, so we're gonna need to,
Was it 30?
It's on, the one I handed you, Andy, you can write on, cause it has all of it broken down by category, like the littoral, and it's based on what we've actually spent.
Mhm.
That's the last page?
It's this one here.
Oh, right, here, this one. Oh.
Well, this isn't exactly the budget we prepared. We can refer to it, but we didn't prepare this one. Okay, so we're okay with amending, the budget under adding 2 lines, a lake line for 37.50, a canal line for 3,000. That's an amendment, that was proposed by Aaron, all in favor? Aye? Okay, so the budget's amended. Other amendments to the budget as before you.
The engineering for the lake, we probably need to increase that.
So engineering is about 2/3 of the way down at 5,000 right now.
Did we already pay that?
No, that's the money we paid last year for the other assessment we did with the engineers.
Did we get an engineering assessment done?
Yeah, that's the one.
The assessment, like assessment that came out, circulated, walked it.
Yeah,
was the
it's the
email
one that,
report.
it's the one that mostly talked about the overall health of the lake.
Yeah.
And the assessment was kind of like, yeah.
So this is basically them coming out and actually doing a survey, telling us, hey, here's how much it's eroding.
But we already paid for it?
No.
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 We paid for their first time, first run, and we have a report from that, so we did get our money's worth, but now we need to go to the next step. I recall us saying, there was somebody saying we were gonna have to go consider a next step.
I thought we already approved it, but.
Yeah. Well, it still has
We
to
did,
go in
he's
the
just
budget.
trying to increase it on the budget.
Well, so just to make it a little, going with what Aaron's saying, the 4,800 was approved, so we should have a second line item that engineer review of survey. So then it's not, just in case, then we know exactly what is getting approved for, so we don't just have $1 million in one fund and then it get used for glitter instead of what we approved it for, you know, just
Well,
to.
we can, yes, you can, but I understand, you can start adding GLs for everything, you know, then it gets a little too much on your GL side, so.
But it's, I have it itemized and it's only one page.
I
Like,
know, I'm just saying that's why usually you might bundle a couple things together. So, the point would be, are we going to change the number or are we going to add a line that is engineering consulting fees or engineering meeting fees
And we are doing that this year, we're not
right away?
holding off until next year.
I think if we're gonna do it,
Right
do
away.
it. We have
the
plenty of money.
contract. I'm gonna sign this. if it's approved.
I think it's the increase in the 2,000.
2,000?
Yeah, to give us another 2,000.
So we'll make a motion.
I'll make a motion to
So
increase.
that's technically 2,200 extra that you have then for that, right, cause it's only 4,800.
Oh yeah, it's 4,800, so.
If you add 2,000, that's 2,200.
Okay, yeah, and it doesn't mean we have to spend it, it just gives us the ability in case, as Andy said.
You know, at least add engineer slash
Yeah,
study.
sure. Okay, engineer study, amending the budget to 7,000 under engineer, new name study. $3,000 goes to, 5,000 goes to 7,000. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Any other comments, questions, amendments?
On just that, or we,
The budget.
There's a line item that's blank, professional services, can you explain? Or,
That's usually like accounting.
Yeah.
oh, so that's like miscellaneous?
That may have been a line item you put in there when we had the bookkeeper.
Well, professional, I mean,
Yeah.
so how it is on, they probably pulled up there, but how it is on, HOA is broken down. So you have your services and then each one's.
Oh,
bullet
it's a
point.
title, it's not a
Yeah.
line. It's a title of the
Oh.
next three things.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh,
It's a
okay.
little confusing, yep.
Okay.
Our three things are accounting, legal, and engineering,
Mhm.
I think, is what our professional services. But we're not, there's nothing under the title.
Okay, do you wanna stipulate that, like, next to professional services, free, or?
You know, if I were redoing it, I would take that out. There's no reason to set those, maybe there's an HOA guideline that you should set aside professional services on your budget or something.
Yeah.
But it was a little confusing to me. So, it's one of those things, if you don't take it out, then you have to explain it every year.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Do we have, speaking about miscellaneous, do we have a miscellaneous in the event that, say, Kathy, you do a lot of copying, maybe she needs,
We have
some printer ink or
That's
something?
admin and mailings.
Oh, that's, okay. Alright,
all right, then with the amendments accepted, all in favor of the budget for 2026?
I have another amendment, sorry.
Okay.
So the numbers are not correct, cause if we're collecting fees, like we, have to, for March, it would be at 250, so right now the 2026 budget is 66,000, so we collect them at 250, and then you're voting to, which I will be voting no to, on raising our dues, but if the board is gonna vote to raise them to 600, then our actual would, budget year end, we would be at 58,950.
That's
So
collecting 250 of the first half
Yeah.
and 300 the second?
Mhm.
No,
What if
we're
we
not.
collected 350 the second half to make up for that, and then you collected 600 for the year?
Well, at the last, it was talked about 600, so I'm going off of those numbers from May 6th.
Yeah, I'm still suggesting 300.
300.
Yeah.
Right,
This
but
is still
I think, if I'm understanding you, I think what Jessica's saying is because we're doing this kind of in arrears, we can't collect the 300 for March.
Correct.
But if we wanted to collect 600 for the year, instead of collecting 300 in September, we collect 350, and 350 and 250 is still 600.
Yeah, it would be true.
From my attached email to Larry, he said March dues should be collected at 250.
Right, which is fine, and then
Yeah.
in September, we could do
They're
350.
gonna increase September to make up the difference.
And then next year, go to 3 and 3.
So we're amending to temporarily one-time raise to 350?
We don't
No.
need to, what our documents say is, it's a yearly amount. It doesn't say biannually, it says yearly X amount, and we can go up to $700, without it going to the membership to increase over 700. So it doesn't matter how you split it up, you can do 100 at the beginning of the year and 600, or 500 in September.
You can do it all at once.
You can do 200, 400, you can do 600
And I would
one time.
suggest
Yeah,
that
some do it all at once.
a larger jump is less comfortable for people too, you know, even if we do go up
Yeah.
once to go up, $100 as opposed to the having,
Yeah.
so, but in which way? Yes.
Andy, is that necessary in our budget, that we raise the association fees? Because there are many of us right now in a really harder time
Mhm.
with what everything else is costing.
Right.
It's gone up. And if it isn't a necessary thing, I would ask you to keep them at 250 and 250 for this year.
So thank you for bringing that up. I don't think anybody wants to pay more, but we do have a pretty clear understanding, that we are facing the future of the lake needing work. Sooner or later, even if it's plants, it's gonna be, you know, the plant plan still would cost money. We also have to keep in mind that we, you know, should be responsible in what we have in savings. And so we also wanna make sure that we don't all of a sudden come back to deal with a large problem. So the idea is to, not to get to that point where we don't have the funds to deal with a large problem. Then you'd be forced as a resident to pay maybe $1,000 or maybe $1,500, or you probably have friends in condos that then asked to pay $30,000. So what we're hoping to do is, you know, it is a budget change for people, but a little change as opposed to in a couple of years having some sort of bigger change that we might need.
Just wanna let the record state, again, to your point, it is not necessary, because after we collect the March dues, we're gonna have $97,000.
Well, March
And September, whatever, 97,000 in savings that we could use.
Right, if you go to 250, if you collect.
If we keep it as
250,
is.
If you keep that, and that's a very nice cushion. We've been here a long time, and I remember, you know, when we had practically nothing, but they were able to pay for our internet and television out of $300. I know times have changed, I realize that, but unless it's necessary now, for this year, I would ask you to keep the funds at 250.
I think it's wiser to make small steps and be responsible and not leave you in the lurch in a few years.
But does it have to happen this year, when
Well,
everything
this
is
year,
more,
next
and we
year.
have 97,000
Just
in
to,
our budget?
just to let you know, it was advised by our attorney to raise it to the cap back to 700 where it was. And Andy proposed the budget, the increase to be 600 as opposed to 700.
The attorney doesn't
I mean,
live here.
We were suggesting 700.
And I talked to Larry several times this week, and he, by the way, it's on record, he said, my calls are free. First one he charged for, but it was mandatory because they were going to increase our dues to 300, and I tried to figure it out in-house, but we couldn't. So, but moving forward, I spoke with Larry, and he has charged us a significant amount of money. We paid $5,000 for the engineer report, and Larry said, we figured it out, nothing needs to be done, raise the dues or don't. We know it's an aesthetic problem, we know there's not a major thing coming up, but it's ultimately the board's decision, but he did not say you should be raising it to 700. He did say that on record back when it was unclear what was going on, and that's why I was like, hey, let's get a survey done and do all this stuff. Instead, we got an engineer letter. So there is no imminent thing. So to Don's point, my thing is, let's just get what we have done. Even with everything we just added to the budget, we would still end the year with around $92,000. And it's like, then at our January budget meeting, we'll know for sure, we'll have the reserve study, and then we can figure out what we need to get done, what we really need to raise our dues, and then that gives everyone at least time to prepare, and we can have the reserve study, have everything done, and base it on actual needs from the survey, from everything. So that's just my 2 cents again.
We like that.
Any other questions? Okay, we're gonna vote on the, budget as amended, that, without the fee change on the budget.
We didn't, because as we said in the emails, I was under the impression, and the record shows the recording, that we voted, well, I didn't vote for it, but we voted to add the reserve study, but now the minutes say it was tabled, but then the reserve study is here and we haven't talked about that. So, and it says it was actually approved in 2026, so, but then the emails say it was tabled. So so there's still a few items on here that we have not discussed.
Right, cause I wasn't going through line by line, that's why I asked if there was any more discussion.
But then if we approve something that was tabled, then it's
It was
great.
tabled to this meeting.
Are we doing it? We are
It
doing
was,
reserve study.
yeah, well, it was tabled to this meeting because we put it on a document, we
Well,
discussed it.
it's
We
not-
weren't all in agreement, and we're now at the moment, if you would like to discuss a line item, please do. So you'd like to amend
Well,
or discuss, or? what
yeah,
would you like to
I'm
do?
discussed because it says, it didn't say tabled to this meeting, it says tabled until engineer report or whatever,
No, I think what I said was that you were correct, that it would be better to do the reserve study after we know the lake condition.
yeah, no, I understand that, but I'm just saying.
So it might have gotten worded and you think it was tabled, but it was just, my statement was, to you, you are right, we should do the lake thing first.
No, this was in an email as of yesterday, so it
I know, but I'm
was,
trying to explain what was behind it.
because I was trying to get clarification because it says 3 different things, and so I'm just, because again, I was trying to make the point that the minutes should reflect, if it's not tabled, the minutes should reflect that these prerequisites need to be,
Read
made.
the minutes under reserve studies.
So then I'm,
If it clarified it,
yeah,
okay.
The base.
And it's just-
Do our back and forth.
As I said, I don't think we should pigeonhole ourselves into a corner with the lake study where the, reserve study is being held hostage by the lake study. I think they should be two separate
Under
issues.
reserve
Yeah.
study.
And I did
I agree.
look into further, I did ask Larry, if someone would like to amend reserve, we could, put it under a specific title, so that's the last item. I like the reserve, but Larry said you could also put it under, lake maintenance,
Yeah.
surplus.
It's supposed to be, well, it's supposed to be
I
allocated.
thought it wasn't just for lake.
Well, that's the thing, so when we do a reserve study, they will give us a roadmap.
Yeah.
And they will say,
That's why I like the idea.
here's how they're allocated, and that's why, it said previously, we should have a reserve study done now,
so,
because.
yeah, but why would we do it now? If you read the reserve studies, it says, you need to have your engineer report, your designs, your this, your that, all of your bank statements, and as we know, all of our records and stuff are not up to date, so why would we pay $3,000 now to then have the survey, have the engineer report, to then have to go pay them to redo it?
Well, I do know 2 of them will give you 2 revisions under the 3,000.
I know,
Under
but
fees.
why?
So they'll give you revisions, so.
Why, so also, some of those studies, they specialize in clubhouses and whatnot. So why would we just go with anyone when we don't know what our specialized needs are? And maybe we can find someone who specializes in exactly what we need. So that's why I'm just saying, we're kind of putting the cart before the horse.
We need the money to even go forward, so.
Yeah, I was just under the impression this was tabled until that's what the email said. If my phone wasn't recording, I would read the email verbatim, because I clarified this several times, unless you can pull it up, Tiff. And so if it's
I
approved,
do wanna be clear though, everything in between meetings is not the same as meetings. So just be aware, everything
Yeah.
that's between the meetings is conversation. In fact, some boards can't even meet between the meetings.
Sunshine
Yeah.
law.
What's that?
Sunshine law.
So, one of the things we're trying to do this with, we're all trying to do it well together. So, there is a lot of talking, but we can't hold a conversation in between a meeting too much, because it's the meeting, it's what's happening right now, is what's happening right now. Anything that was discussed before is subject to what's happening right now. So, I'm sorry if you got
I did not get confused because I asked for clarification.
But right now is the clarification time. This moment is the clarification time.
Okay.
Not whatever
So-
else gets heard.
The minutes are not correct, it was not tabled, it is still on so it was misrepresented in the email.
Okay,
Okay,
okay.
Do the minutes need to be amended? Because this is the time to do it.
so I
We
think,
already,
We-
we have to
Well, we can make a motion to go back.
So I think they-
Before they got approved.
to my point, it just says there remains a disagreement as to whether the study should be conducted after completion of the survey and analysis, or whether it should proceed regardless of the outcome. So I think the minutes should say, hey, the reserve studies require this, and this to be completed, and that's what we should do before we pay or have to.
I disagree.
And-
We shouldn't paint ourselves in a corner to where we're relying on having the lake survey finished before we do the reserve study. As I said at the last meeting, if this lake study takes 5 years for whatever the case may be, Don't look at me like
Why
that. I
would
see
it
the way-
take
Who
5
knows? Why
months?
would it take 5 months? This was approved in January.
Why would it take
and
5
nothing's
months
been
to
done.
get access to pay HOA, or
Yeah.
take 2
We're
years
not-
to get
I
bank
don't know, but
statements?
stay on topic. We're not talking about
But
that.
you're
We're
talking about the past,
I'm
I'm bringing,
no, I'm
it's
talking
apples
about the
to
lake
oranges,
study.
it's apples to
I'm
oranges, come
talking
on.
about the lake study.
As soon as, Aaron, you as the treasurer, if you fund it tomorrow at 7 AM, at 7:01, I will have that contract.
This was approved in January.
Okay, stop with the threats.
No,
Let's just
I
continue
said
on.
if he, there's no threat going on, I said if he
Okay.
pays them at 7:01, wait, I'm still talking, Joel. Pays them at 7:01 tomorrow, I will send the signed contract, granted if I get it, at 7:02, and then I will call him at 8 AM when they open to say, hey, put us on the schedule, when
Let's
are we
go.
going?
Good.
So there's no delay, the delay has been, we haven't had a meeting and and also that was voted with the previous board. So, I mean, it's not gonna take 5 months, it's probably gonna take a matter of weeks. So I think putting the stipulation, especially, okay, what if something really bad is determined with the engineer report, right? And then we need to wait for those plans, and then you're all of a sudden like, well, I don't wanna put ourselves in a corner, let's get the proposal done. Or say it takes till January because we're working on drawings and stuff, and then a new board comes in and doesn't wanna watch a 2-hour video, and then the minutes don't reflect what needs to be done.
Okay, there's a lot of what ifs there.
No, but I'm just saying, we should just put in the minutes, hey, follow the proposal order, like, we need to get this and this done before we spend the $3,000, I don't think that's
Okay,
unreasonable.
I think first, you shouldn't tell people what we should put in the minutes. What we should say is, we need to discuss what we're gonna do
Well,
and
it is a
decide.
I'm not telling you, do
Yeah,
this
that's
right now.
exactly what you did. You
No,
just
I'm
said,
just-
I think we
I'm-
need to put in the minutes.
This went on the last meeting, that's why it's in the minutes, there was a discussion about
Yeah.
it and disagreement, that's all.
And then I read-
It wasn't,
Just, this is
Yeah.
the last thing I'm gonna
Nothing
say,
was
I
decided.
disagree
Yeah.
that we should wait until the lake is, that we should paint ourselves into the corner and having to wait until the lake issue is completed before approving
But I
the
think
reserve
what she's
study.
saying is the reserve study is not gonna be completed until we finish that. They're gonna ask for that engineer report.
Correct.
Okay, and as Joel said, if they need it, there's 2 revisions that are available at no charge.
But why hire a specific company when we don't even know what needs to be done, is my whole point.
We have, so we're not doing, so they come out and they look at your liabilities. It's not like they look at, they do HOAs, they condos, they do them all. So they look at your liabilities.
So they're gonna come look at the lake, like we just paid $5,000 to the engineer to do, and say, oh, you have a lake. It literally says, they don't do underwater studies, they literally are just gonna come out, it says, we only look at the lake.
It's very common,
So,
very common.
that's why we're doing
But
the
they're gonna look at
engineers.
everything else too.
I'm not voting,
There's common area,
I'm
there's
not,
signs.
I'm not against this at all, I'm just saying, there's nothing wrong with putting in the language, let's get this and this done, and then we decide what exact reserve company to do, cause I'm actually for the reserve study, but I'm just for doing it once and doing it right
So,
the first time.
We're gonna approve the start of the engineering study, and we will need to do a little more work to get the right reserve study. Make sure we've got the right reserve study firm, then we'll contract with them. You will get to vote when we contract with them, right? The board will get to
They'll
vote.
choose one of the 3.
Yeah,
And you don't vote on it.
yeah. So when we get to the next time, we may be ready, the engineering thing might be zooming along, or they might tell us they're backlogged. We're going to, proceed with the reserve study. If, whatever the status is, as long as, you know, if it's fair to wait, we can wait a little, if not, we have to move. So, that will be decided at this meeting. What we are agreeing upon is that there's gonna be funding for it.
Yeah, I think we gotta get off topic,
Yeah.
we're still talking about the budget.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, the reserve study, for all of you, okay, it's one of the reasons for us to, you know, move the dues up, because it's an extra expense. They're probably gonna tell us something about our liabilities. We may have good news, the money that we have might be great, then we don't have to raise dues. You know, we're good, but I think we should be, wiser than this, and I know the board deserves to have the information, because we're kind of liable as a board. And right now, we don't really know, we're flying blind.
Well, I think it takes a lot of it out of our hands.
Yep.
It's a third party, because we're what the talking heads up here,
Yep.
essentially. And even for the residents, it gives a clear view from a third party's point, who has zero interest in our community, except to say, here's your liabilities, here's where you need you guys to be, here's your 30-year roadmap.
Well, no one's arguing that the reserve study shouldn't be done, that's not my point.
I was just wanna make sure.
Yeah.
So,
And one more point to
Yes.
what you said,
okay,
the reserve study could very well say we need to raise dues even more, so that was my whole point of also waiting to just our budget meeting that's gonna be in about 6 months to raise the dues instead of having to raise the dues in September and then again in January and, you know, that was my thing to wait until the reserve study's done, cause that's why we're paying the 3,000 and it's gonna be done before the end of the year. And, you know, it just makes sense.
If they come back and say, you are in a great position, do we go back to 500?
you're the board, you propose it, next meeting, you can
That
propose
would be
it,
a
whether we
motion.
agree with you or not, I don't know, but you can. You could propose a $300.
I mean, I know what goes up never comes down. I know it's a rhetorical
That's
question.
not true.
Actually,
That's not true, cause I'm the one that knocked it down from 500
Because
to
you took something
705.
away.
We
You
lost
paid
it,
again.
we lost a lot.
Yeah.
We never had it.
But I tell you one thing, I'm glad my house keeps going up, I don't know about you guys, so.
So
It's
if,
something to
The
remember.
lowest ones in the city of
if the
Oakland.
reserve study may show that we don't need it, why don't we wait till
Okay,
twenty twenty-seven, January
We're good on
24?
topic.
Well,
What's
that's-
the harm
We're not-
for another
we're-
6 months?
We hear you, but we're proposing to go ahead, so for the other reasons we suggested, especially
So
the
the
late.
reserve study, we have $3,000 approved.
All right? We had
Reserve
this
study's
first
3,000.
motion discussion, I'm gonna call the question. All in favor of the budget as revised? Aye? Hands
Aye.
up his? You see them all, okay? Okay. Opposed? Okay, thank you. Budget passed, good discussions. We don't have an agreement, but good discussions.
You have to agree to disagree.
Dues payments have to be scheduled, I understand it's 14 days from now that we have to ask, put them out?
Yeah,
We have to wait 14?
14 days, right, Kathy?
Yes.
So, per Larry's email, we're still unclear about that, it says that we should be collecting the dues at $250. So then if we just voted to increase them to $300,
That's what we're doing now, Jessica, 250 and 350, right?
Or 300 and 300.
No, you can't do
Well, we
300.
can't- I don't think we can go back and collect 300.
You can't go back.
Do 250
No.
until.
We can
No,
collect
because there's-
600 for the total, but because of what Jessica sent to us, we still have to do 250 for the.
And plus homeowners already paid to, a lot of homeowners already paid to.
Yeah,
So-
Until July 1st, we can't pay, we have to pay 250 until July 1st. After that,
Yeah, and then the
Is it-
next one.
Okay?
so, but 350, we still, so 350, is that like, why wouldn't we just agree to start every buy-in?
We voted, we can't go
Okay,
back. We
but the
can't-
vote,
no.
the,
That was the
Andy,
answer
the
to your
math,
concern
the,
earlier.
I'm telling you, the math isn't mathing. I don't wanna have to send another email, so why can't I just ask the question as a board member right now to make it make sense to me, cause it's not making sense in my head right now.
So maybe I can explain.
Wait, I'm not done with my question.
I understand, but this might answer your question.
Sure.
The fees are gonna be $600 for the year.
Mm-hmm,
We are collecting 250 for March
mm-hmm.
and 350 for September, that's
Okay.
600.
So you're not gonna give why can't we just start collecting 300 and then collect 300 in
Because
March?
that's not 600.
And give people time to budget and prepare, especially, like, what's the difference of like $1,000 in it, if it saves someone from having to skip a dinner for the night? You know what I mean? Why can't we, you know what I mean?
I've got a great address for if you need help.
So you're suggesting our community go to a food bank
No, come
instead
to my
of?
house.
How do you let the neighborhood know of this change?
I think they get informed through the collection process, right?
So historically, because we've been able to increase our dues up to, as we said, $700, if we budgeted for, say we budgeted for next year, $700. In March, they're gonna get a bill for $350.
Right, so it's just a bill, you don't send out a communication saying we've
You
increased the
can,
dues?
yes.
No, actually, we do have, within 14 days, we do have to send out a communication per our bylaws.
So I'm just saying, if we're gonna collect 350 this one time, we have to send that
Okay.
one out,
And
and then we have to
that's
tell
fair, and that's
them,
easy to do.
next year is gonna go down to 300.
Right, and
It's up
that's
to the board.
easy to do.
It's
I
up to
was
the
under
board.
the
I mean, I'm just thinking of our neighbors who are gonna be very confused when they get a bill.
I was under the
right?
impression that we would be doing 250 the first one and then 300 for the
Yes.
second. And
No,
then-
that doesn't,
and
the
then-
numbers don't
and
add
then-
up.
Doesn't make
We just did the,
I
we
know,
just did the
but,
numbers.
I thought that's what they were.
Our,
We had started at
We may have had
600.
discussion about that at the last meeting.
We did not have a discussion about that at the last meeting, because at the last meeting, the vote was not done according to the law, and it had to be redone. And then that's when Larry had to get involved and say, we cannot retroactively increase the dues. And then I do not have my phone because it is again a recording, but I attached the email, and so I believe this was all tabled, so we didn't decide anything on the meeting because that was not a legal vote. So, I mean, so the $350 is brand new news to me about collecting it for March. And I just don't see why we have, I'm sorry, for
I know,
September,
but-
thank you.
I know, but you said that, we voted and we said that we were gonna do that.
But even Kathy
That's
just
all
said
vote.
she thought she
She
was
voted.
voting,
We
she
voted.
thought she
We're
was
not-
voting for something else, that's why I asked for
We're-
clarification.
We, to be clarified, it was clear that we were gonna raise $66,000.
Cause I even asked that earlier, I said, I wanna make an amendment, because if we collect at $250 and then the increase starts at $300,
I just spent an hour taking amendments.
and you didn't address that
No,
part.
you didn't address, you didn't
Yes,
say.
yes, I did, I
You did
said,
not-
I
no.
said the numbers are wrong, I said it actually should be 58,950, we can replay the camera, I said that.
You did not say, I would like to amend the revenue line item for dues.
Yes, I did,
No,
it's on
does anybody
here.
have a second?
Yeah.
I don't
Did we have a
recall that.
second? I don't remember even being said.
We talked about it, and I think that's when you guys went on
I-
saying that your yearly is gonna be 600. We did talk about it.
We did not, you know. you
I'm
have
not
to have
saying
order.
I'm not saying she used a proper word to amend, I saying we had the discussion.
We had, yeah, maybe we did.
But
just
I mean,
wanna make
it
sure that
clearly
we-
wasn't like clear if one other person who just voted is saying it's not, so I just don't understand why, like, we're already increasing the dues.
We are.
We already have, so why not just do it and keep all the confusion, keep all the arguments, where the majority wants to
No one's
increase.
gonna be that confused, cause they're gonna find out in the communication that we raised the dues for their second payment of the year to $350.
Everybody's.
I will
gonna be
bet you
notified.
will get a
They'll all
lot
be
of
notified.
questions from that.
They'll pay $250 now, because that's what they were expecting, some already did, that's a very good point. But the next communication we will send out will say, start being prepared for $350.
I would say 2 communications.
Sure.
Yeah, it's easy to send emails.
Yeah. So, and then we revisit sooner the budget next year and decide, you know, maybe we got the reserve study information, we got the lake information, maybe we say, oh, we're in great shape, or maybe we say it's a good thing we put some money aside because it's worse than we thought. That's the idea, but we already voted on that, so are we, anywhere else that we need to finish up with?
Yes, we are not compliant with the PHOA website,
We're getting
and
close though, right?
Uh,
Let's hear a hooray for people are doing some hard work, right?
Yeah.
A lot of stuff got loaded, we were way behind, and we're really close, and I believe even today, fresh from the dentist's chair. Joel
I'll
owns
take
some
the
more
blame
plates.
for that, that was on me, we saved $12,000.
I really don't care about blame, this isn't an attack, it's
But
just
don't you
getting it
think we're
done.
making a good effort?
No, I had to get the attorney involved to get action, so no, I don't, but
I don't think so.
however-
I think some of the things were already.
however it had to happen,
Now,
it's happening.
who does not have the right to see? Did you can't
Yeah,
see?
I still don't
Do you have
have,
a different thing than hers? Did you check the difference between her logging on and you logging on?
I mean, I sent you my screenshot, was it different than yours?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
What is it that you're seeing? Is it like a
I can show
limited
you.
use? Because,
Anyone who's an admin can add her too, so if you're an admin, you can add her.
well, I was a little busy creating an accurate budget that we still don't have, but I will do that when I get home. So, we have, on this budget, we're paying for GoDaddy. You can literally go on and basically press launch, and you get a free website and everything through PHOA, set up the Gmail to go through PHOA.
So-
So that it actually goes on the corporate record as well, and then that saves us, because if you look at my line items, that's why I don't think we should have voted. If we get rid of cancel the Boca storage unit, cause I went there last week, the Boca storage unit, we are paying $50 a month, which is $600 a year, and according to Tom, a few meetings ago, maybe his last meeting, he said we've been paying for it for like 20 years. You do the math, that's thousands of dollars we could be saving. Again, volunteering to scan it all, so then we just don't need the storage, cause I consolidated everything into 4 bins. There's 4 bins of documents, there's someone's cornhole, and then there's someone's Christmas decorations, and that's it, and then there's a pallet. So we're paying for like half personal storage, and then half 4 bins of stuff that can be scanned,
Tom, you
and,
said it was hot in there, right?
oh, and Tom, just to let you know,
It's AC.
since the last time you've been there, it is air
AC now?
conditioned.
Yeah.
Um,
I didn't, obviously, it sounds like you haven't been there in a while, but it was AC.
Yeah, it is air conditioned, so,
So we
but
got that
also,
going.
so if we cancel the storage unit, that saves us $600 a year. Also our POA plan is not on the monthly plan, so what we're paying right now
It
is
is on the
basic.
monthly, it's not on
I'm
the
sorry, it's
annual.
on the monthly plan, so what we're paying for right now is, like $1,700 per year if we pay one
Are you
time.
ready to follow up on things if we, do you think, who would follow up on these? Like she's listing a number of things that we could save money on, what's the way to do that? Should we have a task force that gets together and?
Yeah, probably
does
like
that, or what should we
things
do?
like scanning what needs to be scanned, if Jessica wants to follow.
Do you want to personally scan?
I've been saying I'll personally do all of this
4
forever.
boxes, you wanna personally scan?
If someone wants to come and help,
Where are we
I'm
gonna
sure,
store
but-
that once you scan it?
It is 7 years, right?
We only have to have it for 7 years, so there's like some
Yeah.
cool historical stuff, like we have the original documents from the 80s, you know, like.
Yeah, maybe
What about the
maybe
class
what
for the
we need is-
KHOA, for people that were uninformed? Tom said last meeting that he would volunteer his time and give everyone the class. Did you not?
Like pay away tray?
Yeah, there's a lot of people.
No, I said we should. I'm not ahead of that, but Joel is, but I'm sure he was, I was
Okay,
speaking for him, he
no.
wasn't here.
No, you
Serious
said, you
question.
said you were gonna do it.
Said what?
I
have a class.
Give a class on
You said you were gonna
Oh.
be in a class.
Wrong guy.
You did say it's
Sorry.
on, it's on
I
record.
don't know how to use it.
Okay.
Hey, Justin, my bad.
How,
Oh, so you were being facetious?
So if.
No, I didn't, listen.
So yes or no? No.
Justin,
Yes.
stop, please.
It's a serious question, I don't know how to use it.
You, it's your time.
It's okay, it's okay, calm down. Settle down.
well, I hear what you're saying, that, if we have something for our own neighborhood, we should make sure they can actually understand it.
I think,
That's a
right,
fair
because we
thing.
did look at transitioning away, we had talked about before, we were sending out mailers, which obviously does cost money. So if everyone's gonna get up on the page, like, maybe we could do it here.
And
I
We
mean,
could offer time.
Maybe
Yeah.
YouTube.
right?
Do what?
Yeah, I'm looking for.
Training
too.
I bet there's one on.
Well, Tom offered it last week, and I'm being serious.
You did offer it, Tom.
That people can benefit from, I think we can all agree, guys, and I think we don't, no
No, I
one's
see,
gonna
I,
charge
yeah,
for it,
okay.
right?
Yeah.
KHOA also, you can do the mailers through it, it's basically an all-in-one thing and we're not using any of it. So just like in savings, just from switching, cause right now we're paying the monthly plan, if you pay in full yearly, you save 10%, which is a few $100s. You times that by 10 years, you're at, $3 grand or more that we're saving that could be going towards some nice plants, you know what I mean? Or it could be paying for the reserve study. So that's stuff we could be doing right now in the budget, that's not reflected of
So
it.
it's 10%, not 1,000. I'm looking at $1,000 difference in here, for
It's,
the monthly,
so the monthly is,
1548.
it would be 15,
It's $129 a month instead of
Yeah.
$149 a month.
Yeah,
Okay. Well, no, I'm
exactly.
just looking at just like $1,000 difference, I was like, oh, that's crazy, but.
no, $1,000 like total, just between canceling the storage
Okay.
units, canceling GoDaddy, and canceling, and switching to the monthly plans. We are saving just $1,000 by doing that, per year, we would be saving $1,000 per year.
The other, I think GoDaddy holds the name, that's.
Yeah, so GoDaddy, per domain, it's usually like $10.
Yeah.
So
Just
like you
there.
can still keep the GoDaddy with $10 or whatever it is, and then you can, so you launch the website and then you import the GoDaddy, domain. So we keep our same website.
And how much we can utilize that, that's, we've been trying to do as much as possible, I mean,
Yeah, you're the one who found it, Joel, it's great. So we should be using it and saving, think, we've had it for at least 2 years now, so we could be saving $2 grand just by, if we had done it, like got it all launched and everything, so.
One step at a time, but I appreciate, the idea of paying the full amount, I think that could be considered.
We did it last
Instead of
year.
monthly.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know,
it's,
I guess it wasn't an automatic renewal thing.
Yeah,
Just have
I
to
mean-
remember every year to make sure that happens.
Well, we
Before
could
cancel
probably-
the storage, we have to have a very clear plan from you on how you're gonna preserve it all, so if for our next time, we could.
sure.
assess the inventory, what do you think we should save? And then what the cost would be, you shouldn't have to scan it yourself, and you can scan. But we need to know where it's gonna be stored.
That's thousands of pages. There may be companies out there that do it, and I don't know how much it costs, but. I mean,
It's our
that's-
admin fees, right? Isn't that what it's for?
But I'm
Yeah,
I'm
there's gotta be
volunteering,
Thousands of pages.
I'm volunteering my time to, it's not like gonna be done in one day.
Oh, never mind then.
You know
Don't
what I
go
mean?
fast.
It's like,
Yeah,
just
we'll be
volunteering
fast.
my time to do it. My scanner scans like 300 pages a minute, so
Oh, wow,
it's,
that's fast.
it's,
Whoa.
you know, like, just stuff that we could be saving money, cause
Yeah.
we're volunteering for a position, so let's,
So what I would say is that if you wanna do it, you can do it, start it, and if all of a sudden you go, "Hey, this is garbage, I don't wanna do this, then we can look at it.
If it's not perfect in mind.
But
it's
we
like,
want,
forget it.
we want, paper copies of the last 7 years, so
We
we
have
want
to.
back to 2020, don't destroy anything.
we don't
later
have,
than that.
we are not compliant, we do not have the past 7 years of documents that we need
But
to
we-
be compliant.
Whatever we had the
So
last 7
the
years.
storage unit only goes to 2020. That's the most recent document I could find, and I went through the entire thing. So, and I do not, Tom, I don't know if you're right or wrong, I'm just saying, I don't know if that's accurate, that we have to retain paper copies. I believe digital copies is what the new, January 1st, 2025 law says, so
Okay.
we scan everything, we put it on our website. We can have a historical section, and then we can have a current section, so no one has to do records requests. If, you know, each month we get our bank statements, it just automatically gets uploaded, and it's there for everyone all the time to keep us compliant. Cause right now, we haven't responded to a records request, and that could come back and bite us in the butt,
Well,
so.
I've heard that it's best not to save past the time they ask, cause that can also get you, so.
Well, we've been paying for 20 years, that's
No,
tens of
that's pretty
thousands of
typical.
dollars
That's pretty typical.
for,
No, I'm just saying that we may not wanna, it may not be worth our while to save everything that's ever been put in that storage shed.
Andy?
In fact, almost nothing that you're talking about should be scanned. We only need to scan the 7 years we don't know where it is. Where's the 7 years, the last 7 years?
it's in cyberspace with Joel.
Okay.
Somebody's garage.
No offense, Joel.
We only have the current stuff.
Hmm?
We only have the current stuff.
Well,
So,
we need-
pre-2020 is what you're looking for.
No, we have pre-2020 in the storage unit.
What's
We don't have any,
2021 to-
we don't have all of the documents we should have at least accessible
Oh,
at
they're all
any
in the
time
bank
to us
account, yeah.
admin.
Well,
Page away. All the bank accounts, all the old emails that have been previously circulated.
But the new board doesn't have that, and if someone asks for the last 7 years, like, no one knows where
No,
those
no.
are.
I
Which,
come through the email page,
The hidden lake?
where all the bills go to, we have to have to go through them in there. That's where I'll be at,
All the bills?
yeah. Yeah, I'll circulate to there.
we could circulate passcodes and stuff, so the new board members could just get it and upload it to the website. And you could also keep it private, so it's not front facing, just for whoever's on the board at the time can also see it, like, so.
We need access because we have to grant it to whoever asks,
Mhm.
right? That's part of the rules, so we better get access.
And it'd be
Whatever it
easy
is.
accessible then, right?
It's
Correct.
in email forms?
I'm assuming that's where the bills, they all come through there, the bills and everything?
Well, FPNL and Solitude. those are
Anything
ones
else
I
comes in
sent
there?
you.
And what email is this? Is there like another?
It's like
Email.
one that it circulates all, like the ARP approvals come through and.
Oh, well, that one we should all have access to, which you can have that Gmail forward to POA, and then you set up a board member chat so you can see it, and like, it literally does everything for us to make our lives very streamlined into just one platform, and then you can even get an email notification
So-
to check your
You
stuff.
can discuss and find out where they are now.
Okay,
Cause the storage unit sounds moot, we don't really need to go back to the storage unit.
Nope.
So
Well,
we
someone's
need
gonna
a,
pick up their cornhole board.
exactly, that's what I'm gonna say.
I'll put
Christmas
it,
decorations
I'll put it on
everything.
eBay,
If
and
you want any
then,
historical documents,
We can put it through the board, right? I mean,
but
to
no
our-
bank account stuff from 2020 past do we wanna even have. We just don't wanna have it. There's nothing to be gained by it. So I would
No
say
sentimental value?
only deeds and, see, I've done this for my family, so I've had to get rid of stuff. But like, you know, if you find, originating documents, that could be nice, but even then, someone's gotta store those. All right, so we can't cancel storage until you have a plan, but we agreed to the idea, so we'll start working on that. And,
Andy, should we keep the documents that say we are responsible for the common areas?
yeah, that would
Because
be,
that was signed, and Tom probably would remember back in the eighties or something.
those are the ones, the
Yeah,
originating
don't
documents.
shred those,
No,
yeah.
don't shred those. Hopefully they're like identified. in
Maybe the
folder.
city shredded theirs, we'll shred ours if it never happens.
Yeah, whose lake is it anyway?
Don't we
Okay,
have all that in the bylaws and everything?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's in the covenant.
And that's all on the book and pages with the clerk of court as well.
okay, I think we hit some of these others under discussion. I don't wanna take a lot of time, but I just wanted to come up with something that's really on my heart. Just let you know it's on my heart, but we don't have to do anything about it tonight, and that's the traffic calming on South Country Club Boulevard. With that park, the activity in the park is like wonderful. I wish, I love it, but I don't know if you've noticed that not everyone looks when they're crossing. A lot of people are coming off of Second Avenue, they're still going fast. I don't know what would be good, and I don't know that it's our road per se, but I think it might be worthwhile if our association wanted to say, in a letter, that we would like to see it looked into.
I still brought up with Michelle Brown yesterday.
One of the best things that works, I'm telling you, petitions.
That's another way to do it.
If you get petitions and you get everybody on board, they're gonna hear it. That's the way City Hall goes, but the wheels are slow.
Well, the new councils, I want to please people, I said, I met with two of them, like, Michelle Grouse, she's like.
You got a
she-
connection?
She just came
Do
over
it.
the other day.
Yeah?
She was at the park the other day.
Oh, good.
And I brought her with her, so she can talk to the city manager about it.
Okay, good. I just think that, and I did get a promise from Andy Thompson to the same effect, that nothing happened, but he probably remembers he promised. I just really worry about that
Yeah.
area, and I just shudder to think what could happen.
On the north end, sometimes we don't get the attention that we should.
Right, right.
That golf course would
Front
be
entrance
great.
plant replacement. I hear we had some offers on plants. Will those work?
I mean, if you wanna do something with vacant, think about me. like,
Now I
less
gotta think
maintenance.
about it, cause.
Less maintenance.
Because of what?
Nothing, I'm just being an asshole.
Strike
Did I
that.
miss something?
Yes,
Yes.
you did.
She's rescinding her offer.
Oh.
She's
Tom
taking-
was worried she was gonna
It wasn't an
twist her
offer
ankle
for
and sue
plans,
us.
but Tom brought up a good point. You guys opened yourself up to liability when you guys were doing some of the lighting, so Tom did express that. Like, we were getting ready to volunteer
For the entry lights?
I mean, Tom made a good point. I mean, he is about the liability, right? So if we
Tiffany
were to
offered the plants.
put plants in, there's a
Just-
possible liability.
I have
Sorry.
4
Don't sign
blue
me up.
steel agaves that I can just.
Yeah.
But we don't wanna put ourselves in that situation.
I think I can handle it if we're good with it. They're sitting in and they're small, but they will grow to be huge, and so they're in the right position.
Well,
It'll probably save us, just that size at the nursery is $45.
Yeah, 'cause
per plant.
I did talk to landscapers last week at the mulch, and they're like, what do you want to do about the plants that are dead? You wanna replace, so I'm like, well, we're doing a budget, like, this don't touch it right now. But I told about me, put them in, or I was thinking just leave it vacant, just tear them out and leave it. There's
There
less
you go.
maintenance on
That
it.
doesn't cost anything.
But also, we need to figure out verbatim, and I know that Craig got back to you, because we don't have a contract.
Mhm.
So we don't know what those services include. And then on top of
the
that,
island.
No, landscaping.
just as landscaping in general, like, does it include the weed whacking down, or should it now include it if we're not spraying? You know, that's
We
something,
can't weed whack into the water. I remember that whole thing that happens to the city ordinance, remember that?
I
All
don't know
the-
what you're talking about, but if you.
Remember that one
direct-
came up during the canal, the
Yeah.
canal conversation, that like, if you're dumping or mowing into the lawn, into the water,
Yeah.
it creates it, so we can't do that, so they used to.
And fertilizer's supposed to be 5 or 6 feet from water's edge.
Yeah, but I think they used to kill it all when they sprayed, so
Yeah.
that's why we never had the issue. Now they're letting it grow, that's where the grass is growing.
Oh.
But if it's also, so fertilizer can't be sprayed, but we're spraying it, we might be able to weed whack and maybe someone come in and scoop it, like, if that's in their services, it's just something
Yeah.
to explore.
Yeah, to ask them.
Because, I'm sure, I've been to a bunch of HOA communities that have, it's weed whacked all the way down without spraying all those chemicals, so it's just something we should get in writing, hey, we do this, this, and that, so that when a homeowner emails us, I don't think this is being taken care of, then we can look and be like, oh, you're right, and call them to come out without getting charged extra. Or maybe, we get some new bids, maybe other places is $100 more, but they they include mulch once per year, you know what I mean? Just so, and especially cause I saw in January, cause we voted to increase our dues, to increase our electricity to, 2,000 or whatever it be, but we've already spent 1,500, I sent the invoice to my electrician and he, we're charged like 600 for 3 light bulbs in GFI, and he's like, those are $45 a piece. And then we were charged 6 hours of labor, and he's like, that should be an hour and a half max to replace those 3 floodlights. And in reality, I don't know what the situation was, but we probably could have bought solar lights that they're like very, very good nowadays. They're not just like, cause I have solar floodlights and they're like almost blinding. So I'm just saying, I don't know if we could or couldn't have, but I had another vendor look at it, and so we should just do some due diligence before just doing the mulch or spending the money, cause we don't even know what the 875 includes. And then the bank statements also show like 600 there extra for bushes, 600 there, over the years, and it's kind of, we should maybe just get some new quotes
Yeah,
and.
I do have one question on the bank statement for this year. Craig, we gave him $500 and it says balance for invoice 15094, but I mean, last year and up to this year, there's no other Zelle payment to him that's less than 875, so I don't know what that's for.
So they do the coconuts? They pull
No,
the coconuts
that's
out?
separate. We also have Craig Coconuts.
Okay.
So it just didn't make any sense.
Yeah,
So if
I
we
can
could
get the
get,
invoice if I
yeah,
can.
15094, if you wanna write that down.
15, what is it?
15094.
As for,
Well, he trims the trees up front separately. Those are fine, totally invoice.
yeah,
We just have balance for invoice, so. It made it seem like we didn't pay him enough for one thing, but.
Was probably too, there's a balance and then something on it probably.
okay.
Okay.
Anybody have questions before we?
You have a question, I know, probably know the answer to it, but the coconuts in the back that are on the lake, someone told me we have someone that trims them from the HOA.
Coconut trees?
Yeah. No?
No,
That's on the
it's,
home.
it's up to the homeowner.
And then, as far as what we were talking about with the lake, I've been in the lake, personally scooping out all this junk. Is that on the homeowner to do, or is that something that we are gonna have the HOA address?
Like, what are you talking about, like scooping?
Coconuts.
Yeah.
Coconuts and.
Oh, coconuts?
Coconuts, just like kind of that grass that you're talking about that's starting to grow in there, it just looks really bad.
Yeah,
And, I mean, I was in there, I pulled a lot out, and I got out, and I was like, did I even do anything? I mean, I pulled like trash cans of this stuff. I don't know, I'm just curious whether that's something that I can do.
I've never seen it as much as it is right now.
Cause I can do it, I can have guys come, I'm talking about for my section, to make it look clean, I just wasn't sure if that's.
Well, this is
before
a
I go
dilemma
and do
because
that.
the conversation about that's your problem when you live on the lake, that we have to fix it. We heard from the non-lake people, but then we don't own the frontage, so yet we're taking care of the frontage. So there is a little dilemma here, in my opinion, that I think, if you ended up with, needs on the shore bank, that's the community's problem. So how have we worked it out that we just let everybody handle it themselves?
okay,
Like, if you have a tree that's, in that property.
yeah.
Why would you have to take care of it? It's not your property.
They should be removed.
Well, that's
They're
a
not
thi-
supposed to be
Yeah.
there.
And the
Tom,
covenant-
did you remove one from your backyard?
No, from my next door neighbor. The one
And
that
we
was,
pay somebody to pick up the coconuts.
the roots were going into her
No,
body.
he's saying we don't.
We do.
Didn't you just say,
We do.
you said they're
The
based on the
trimming
homeowner?
the trees,
Oh, the
not
trim.
picking up the coconuts, just
Okay.
trimming
Yeah.
it.
Trees
So,
and
Yeah,
so
like-
the
like-
coconuts from Craig is the
No,
coconut
they
trees around the
still
lake?
coconuts.
Yeah, they pick them
still
up.
coconuts.
They pick, I mean, I have mine taken, I have a coconut palm back there. And I have a guy and I pay him and he takes them, and actually he takes them.
Well,
You
yeah,
pay
they-
for your tree, the tree that's on our property.
Mhm.
Okay.
The only thing I
You're
can.
right.
But,
that sounds like-
I'm good. So wait, the coconuts, remove coconuts like Craig does.
They're in the
That's
water.
out of the water.
in the water.
They're in the water.
Dig them out of the lake,
So it could,
Yeah.
yeah,
So he
So he doesn't go up the tree?
No.
No, they go
Takes the
around
ones
a
that are
boat,
falling.
he goes around a boat or.
Yeah.
they have a guy
It's
that
a
walks
wheel
around the
where
whole
all
lake,
gets them,
brings
you
them
know,
up.
that's it.
Like Andy, don't they all accumulate down to your end?
Yeah.
No, they accumulate to my end.
Everywhere?
They accumulate to the west end.
So I live on the canal, and so, again, this is to show you, I feel that this is fair. I agree with you. The coconut trees should be trimmed by the HOA, which is also why I'm saying we should see what this 875 is actually covering. If it's just purely covering mowing the lawn, and then we have all these extras, like I get it, he was the lowest bid, but maybe the other bids included extra things, so maybe it's time we get new bids, and maybe even have him give us an all-inclusive bid, hey, coconut tree trimming, mulching, stuff that we know, so we're not just getting, you know, a random bill, whatever he feels like, oh, it's really hot out today, I'm gonna charge a little extra, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I can imagine that the board or the community might say, we don't wanna pay for the coconuts forever, so we're taking the tree down, you know, instead, to say. So I could see, it'd be hard, I don't know how to figure that one out, because, you know, I just think it's important to remember that when we had that conversation, because those who are on the lake are also taking care of public property, as well as benefiting from the view, I guess, or the wind, whatever it would be. And we should, you know, should remember that.
The HOA documents say no one is allowed to plant on that easement around the lake.
These are, who knows when they were done.
So we should take them down, so.
Yeah, the two trees back behind mine were there before the house was built.
Rather than paying for coconuts, why don't we just have the trees removed?
Well, we're not gonna pay for coconuts. The point would be,
No,
I think
the
you
ones
have to
that
look
fall
at
in the
it,
lake.
you have to look at it, like if a homeowner moved in and said, I'm not gonna take care of that tree,
They don't have to.
then,
Technically.
right, technically they don't have to. So then I think the board would
Same
probably
with
have to say, well, if they're not gonna take care of it, we either take care of it or we take it down, right?
Let's take
So
it
I think it really leaves it up to the homeowner, so unfortunately, in your case, you.
Tree
you
removal
probably-
is expensive,
you-
it's
you
like
like-
$800 per tree.
You probably like.
So it is,
Well, not only that, you'd have to mitigate for it too. The city's really
Yeah.
tough on that. In
And
other words, they'll make you plant two.
before we make
replace
any
one.
rash decision, we should probably wait for the engineer report.
No rash
Because,
decisions, it was just.
you
a-
know,
it
well, I'm
was a
not
hypothetical.
calling you guys rash, I'm just saying any like,
Agreed.
only because we don't know, what if the engineer says leave the tree? What if he says, yeah, that's an invasive tree causing your house to collapse into the canal? You know, we just don't know. So, I just,
I will say that one in the corner by the park, I do something about sooner than later, that's gonna fall on its fence, that's gonna be on us to do.
Yeah.
Which one?
That one right there next to the park, whose house is that,
Hank.
next to your brother's
Hank.
house,
Hank.
next door to your, yeah.
Yeah.
That thing's gonna fall one of these days, and pay for a fence and a tree.
You talking about Sandy?
No, right next to the park,
Oh,
Two, right next to me?
that thing's,
Yeah,
no,
right
that
by the
thing's
park.
got to go.
oh, yeah. Yeah, that's, oh, yeah. Didn't we trim that out one time, way back when?
All right, any other discussion?
Before we adjourn, one of the neighbors is having trouble with his email and asked if I could get a, architectural review approved. I know we're kind of going
Okay.
backwards.
Okay.
It's really easy, it's,
Purple paint with a.
purple
Polka
paint
dots.
with a, yellow eye on the side of the house.
Painted in gator colors.
I've got it already filled out.
Yes, Ken.
It's Joe and Camille, 7185 Northwest
Tom.
Fourth Avenue.
Got the other.
And I'll send this to you so that you have it, but, I'll just read it quickly. 7185 Northwest Fourth Avenue, they wanna paint the garage door to match their, already approved roof. And they're, installing impact windows with dark frames to also match the new roof.
Boy, that's. We could be here all night.
I told them to start work. It'll be
Please,
fine.
yes.
What color is that?
Dark.
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 Night.
All right, I think, we could say that that's a motion. Do we have a second on that? All in favor?
Yep.
Yeah.
Are we okay
Matching.
are we okay doing these by email?
We're not
So we
supposed
talked
to.
about a committee meeting, but does the board still have to approve them?
Mhm.
yes.
The board can't meet that
Ratify the
often.
meeting.
No,
No, the board doesn't have to approve,
No.
the architecture, whoever's responsible for the architectural review, like, it was Tom Scott at one point, then John Cronenwitter, he just signed off on them.
Yeah, and but he made it part of the minutes the next following.
Right,
meeting.
then it would come to the board.
Yeah.
That way people wouldn't have to wait for us to meet.
But do we have a committee?
We don't, we talked about it, but we don't.
Well, I brought this up at the last meeting, KHOA, you can have architectural submissions, and
Really
then,
cool.
so you just upload it there, and then it can get approved, however we legally need to do it, we could even, I've said it before, all we need is 5, if we need to have vote board approval, and just have a 5-minute Zoom meeting for whoever's available, and then call it a day if needed, or we can do the committee, I'm not sure, I haven't read that section.
And it could be a committee of
Yeah.
one.
So,
Yes.
I don't know if that's true or not, cause I just haven't read it, I'm not saying you're wrong, I
It's pretty
don't know.
unclear.
So, I can do research, Aaron can do research, and we can make a plan with HOA and committee of 1, committee of 5, whatever needs to be the easiest, and within our law and governing documents.
And I have one thing, can we, moving forward, when we send Zell to anyone, can we be very descriptive? In the, you know, of what it's for,
Well, there's a bunch of-
When we're paying a bill with that.
correct, or reimbursing someone on the board, just be descriptive of what it's for.
Yeah, there's a line in the Zell payment
Yeah.
even. It was for
Yeah, and
you.
sometimes we're good at it, and sometimes we're just not, so.
Andy, I have a couple of questions.
We dated too, right? Has to
I
be
just wanna
dated.
finish,
And dated.
Yeah.
I would
Well-
suggest that if Aaron be willing, you could be the architectural.
He can.
He's gonna do
People on the
treasurer.
board, or members cannot be on the committee.
Well,
But that's
and,
what boards had.
and we gotta figure out if we can do the 1, or if we can do the 5,
Colin,
or
would you like
whatever.
to be on the architectural review?
Yeah, you and your brother, there we go, perfect.
Whoa.
Oh, You get to decide if their application matches our aesthetic, and I think you're pretty good at
It's pretty
aesthetics.
simple, it's pretty
But-
simple.
It only happens like every other month or so, and you don't have to
Give me
meet.
some time to think about it.
All right.
It's really easy. It's not.
I'm glad
he's here.
I know where it is. Okay, think about it, Colin. It'd be super easy. We just need to we need to have it faster for these people. And I'm gonna call Larry about the rental.
Well,
Remember that?
Just to let you know, Larry's opinion on that, okay?
Which, the one you?
Because, yeah, and Aaron, you weren't on board yet, but about architectural reviews. Say for instance, we're heading into hurricane season, right?
Mhm.
Somebody wants to put doors in and stuff like that, why should they have to wait till our meeting in August? So what Larry suggests, he says, among the board members, you email each other and you let them, if nobody objects to it,
Right.
then you let the person know that nobody on the board has objected to it, we all approve it, and then at the next meeting, that gets on the minutes, and that gets voted on officially.
Okay.
Those are that was his legal advice that we paid for,
Very good.
That's pretty much what we've been doing.
and that's what we've been doing.
Okay, Bonnie.
Okay,
Sorry?
will we get an email about what Larry's answer is about renting? Will we be notified or just the board? What his answer is when we reach out?
You does the public wanna know? Is that what you mean?
I'm just saying, are you gonna send something out about, it so we know what the answer is, or you just talk about it next meeting, or you don't?
No, it's among the board, but if you wanna know, we'll tell you.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think an email needs to go out to the entire association.
Well,
Do you know, is that what you're asking?
They wanna move in soon, like.
Do you know the renter?
I have no idea who.
Oh, you just wanna know, you wanna know if it's
Yeah.
gonna be known,
Yeah, I
you're
just
curious.
wanna know, yeah.
Yeah, we should have an
They should
answer
know
tomorrow.
They should know tomorrow, you'll let me know.
I'll make sure
You're the one that's
to,
confident.
Yeah.
And another question, just a curious question, if you live on the lake, do you have to pay more for homeowners insurance? Do you guys know that live on the lake, if you have to pay more because you have a lake?
I've never heard.
Flooding possibility.
I've
No,
never
I don't,
heard it.
I don't think we do, that was just.
Yeah.
yeah, I don't think,
What, for insurance?
Yeah, homeowners insurance.
I would
don't
think
know, I have
not,
three policies, I don't like any of them, but I have
cause
to have
we
them.
have like the HOA has a liability insurance, so my first guess, I'm just talking off the cuff, I have no clue, but I would assume no more than any of the other houses, just cause it's insured.
It's a good question.
Not waterfront property.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
All right.
But,
Motion to adjourn?
not research,
Motion.
just,
All in favor? All right, thank you so much, thank you all for coming.
Anyone
We
that
used to have.
What about this?
What about this?
Oh,
We didn't do that.
we already voted, we can do it.
Yeah.
But there's
Oh,
But,
good.
my suggestion was we wait until after whatever construction is due, so then we don't have to do one now and one then. I think we said, invoice to Kathy, or maybe sent to me, one was done in 2020, we don't have to definite, right? So I think it should be done, like, right after construction, whatever needs to be done, even if it's just rock something, it's got money that's not on it, it's hard to issue.
I mean, he told us the best time to do it is because that's when you get the real true meeting.
So, I mean, the hottest is August, so that should be, we'll have a meeting before, that's just fine, I think it should be.
I agree.
Yeah. Yeah.